Most traders are inconsistent because of their strategy. They are inconsistent because they cannot trust their strategy when pressure hits. They don't have what I call the execution confidence. And the thing about confidence is that it isn't something that you're born with. It's a skill, right? Which means it's something that you can earn through reps. And that's what this 21-day Edge Flow Discipline Challenge is designed to do. Is to force consistent reps under a trading plan with journaling until execution becomes automatic. Now, bear in mind that money is not the goal here, right? The goal of this challenge is not to make the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time possible. The goal here is to build, like I said, the execution confidence, right? Is to make it a habit to follow your trade plan, to be disciplined. And the reason why I picked 21 days is because science has shown that it takes around 21 days to build a habit. So hopefully by the end of these 21 days, following your process should start to feel like second nature, right? It's like at the end of these 21 days, it should feel weird not to follow your trade plan, right? Because now you are like so programmed, you're so indoctrinated to actually go and follow your trade plan. All right, so this is pretty much how you can rewire your mind to become a disciplined and consistent trader. So here's the rules of the game. Over the next 21 days, you're going to be taking 21 trades that are fully in accordance with the trade plan. You can do this on a demo account. You can do this on a live account. Completely up to you. Ideally, you should do it on a live account because it builds real power, especially when your real hard-earned money is on the line. But you can obviously do it on a demo account as well, right? Because like I said, the goal here is to just build a habit to follow your trade plan, not to make money. So here's the rules of the challenge. Out of these 21 trades, every single trade that you take, it must be aligned with your trade plan. It must be executed cleanly, which means you have to follow your risk management rules. And then you have to journal immediately after you close the position itself. Okay, so these are like the 3 criteria for every single trade that you take over the next 21 days. The goal of this exercise, like I mentioned earlier on, is not to make money. It's to build the habit of confident execution. Okay, just because you have to take 21 trades over the next 21 days does not necessarily mean that you have to like follow that to a T. Because if you do that, you're going to end up forcing trades. You're going to end up forcing trades even though there's no clear opportunities in the market. Because that's just how the market is. On some days, there is no setup that fits your plan. So you're allowed to skip those days, right? Because one of the criteria is that every single trade you take must be aligned with your trade plan. So for example, today is day 5 of the challenge. And then I see that this setup doesn't align with my trade plan. It doesn't fulfill my entry criteria. Then I'm allowed to skip that trade. I'm allowed to skip that day itself. Okay, so the goal here is not to gamble every single day. It's not to force trades when there's no opportunities. The goal here is to build discipline through reps that is aligned with your trade plan. So think of it like this. Yes, you are required to take 21 trades across 21 days. But it doesn't have to happen within the 21 days. If it takes you a little bit longer, 30 days, 60 days, 50 days, that's completely fine. Just move at your own pace, but make sure you keep your standards high. So the goal of this exercise is for you to internalize these 5 fundamental truths about the market, right? So this is how I define execution confidence. Like I said, execution confidence means you have the conviction in your trading strategy. You have the confidence in yourself to execute your trading strategy. And the only way you can get to that stage of enlightenment, right, of execution confidence is when you have finally embraced these 5 fundamental truths about the market. These are 5 truths that is quite renowned. They are actually created by this man called Mark Douglas, which is one of the greatest of all time when it comes to trading psychologists. And the 5 fundamental truths basically states that, number 1, anything can happen in the market. So at any given moment, price can shoot up $100, $1,000, whatever it is, because anything can happen in the market. Which also means that if you don't trade with a stop loss, you are going to get stopped out when something unexpected start happening. No, if you don't trade with stop loss, you're going to lose a lot of money when something unexpected actually happens. And you don't need to know what is going to happen next in order to make money, right? A lot of beginners think that they have to predict what price will do next in order to profit from this market, when in reality, that's not true, right? All you need to have is an edge. And then over the long term, right, over a large sample size of trades, you will end up being profitable. There is a random distribution between wins and losses for any given set of variables that define an edge. What it basically means is that wins and losses are randomly distributed. Just because you win this trade does not necessarily mean that you're going to win the next trade. Similarly, just because you lost the previous trade does not increase or decrease the likelihood that you're going to win or lose the next trade. It's all 50-50. An edge is nothing more than an indication of a higher probability of one thing happening over another. When you have an edge, which is in the form of a strategy, it gives you the competitive advantage. It increases the likelihood of you winning a trade, but it does not guarantee that you will win a trade, right? So that's what it means by this rule right here. An edge just allows you to essentially put the odds in your favor. Just a little bit, right? Not too much. It doesn't guarantee that you win. And every movement in the market is unique. History doesn't repeat itself, but it sure as hell rhymes. Which means that when you're trading, you'll see certain patterns play out over time, right? Something happens in 2008 financial crisis. The next time there's a stock market crash, you will see the same sort of patterns appear in the market, right? The fear index starts skyrocketing, people start panic selling, right? So that's what I mean when I say history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure as hell rhymes. And that ties into this quote right here, which says that every movement in the market is unique. Just because the pattern is there doesn't mean that it's the exact same pattern, right? For example, in the 2008 financial crisis, let's say stocks can crash by, once again, just giving you an example, stocks crashed by 58%. This time around during the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, now stocks have crashed by, let's say, 40%. It's the same pattern, which means stocks crashing during a crisis, but it's a different degree, right? Like it might take a different duration for the stock market to actually crash that percentage, right? Crash that 40%. It might take 1 hour for the stock market to crash 50% back in the 2008 financial crisis. But right now, it might take 1 day, right, for the stock market to crash by 40%. And it's the exact same thing right here, right? Every single movement in the market is unique. So even though patterns repeat itself, it's not going to be the same pattern. It's not going to be exactly the same. If these truths aren't real to you yet, you will keep hesitating before you enter a trade. You will keep cutting winners early. You will keep revenge trading. You will keep over trading. And most importantly, you won't be able to trust your trade plan or even yourself. So this exercise fixes that, right? This challenge fixes that. Because as you take reps, as you journal your trades, you start to experience these 5 fundamental truths in real time. When you're going through a losing streak, then you understand that there is indeed a random distribution between wins and losses, right? Because just because I have lost 5 trades in a row does not mean I'm going to lose the next trade. I could actually win the next trade, right? Because it's 50-50. So that is the point of this exercise, right? Is to do this challenge over and over again and just get to that state of execution confidence, right? So when you reach that state, this is where you will become what I call a consistent trader. Someone who's able to just follow their trade plan, someone who actually have a lot of trust in their trade plan because they know that they don't need to win the next trade. They are fully detached from the outcome because they fully embrace the truth right here. So if you don't reach that state of execution confidence after these 21 days, after these 21 trades, I highly recommend you to repeat this exercise until you do. Which means that if at the end of these 21 trades, you still find yourself trying to gamble in the market, trying to predict what price will do next, trying to attach yourself to the outcome of any given trade, then go and do this exercise again. Do another 21 trades. And then do another 21 trades if you can't accept this truth. Until you eventually embed this truth into your subconscious mind. Until you start believing all of this truth with every fiber of your being. Alright? That's how important this is. So, like I said, every single trade inside in this challenge right here, you want to make sure that you follow these three things right here. And in order to help you do that, you can use edge flow. All right, so it's going to be this entire loop. You start your trading session, you only take A+ setups, and you execute with your trade glut and your risk panel, and you journal immediately using the instant journal flow, and you close your session and you do your end of day review. So obviously, I'm not going to go through each one of these steps in this video, right? Because we already have done a bunch of lessons covering each one of these steps, right? Like how to do your pre-market routine, how to start your trading session properly, how to identify your A+ setups on the chart itself, and also how to execute trades with your trade glut and your risk panel, and how to journal immediately after you actually get out of a trade, and how to do your end of day review, right? So all of these lessons have already been covered inside the academy, inside this series of professional trading lessons right here. So make sure you go and check that out, right? But basically, you want to be doing these 5 steps on a day-to-day basis for the next 21 days. All right, that's the loop. Just repeat it 21 times. If by the end of these 21 days, you still feel fear, hesitation, or you're still repeating rules, then you haven't completed the real goal yet. And like I said, you just want to repeat this exercise. Do it for another 21 days or do it for another 21 trades. Okay, cool. Here's the thing. At some point in this challenge, you are going to take a few losses in a row. That's just the nature of the game, right? Because if you're taking 21 trades, you're probably going to lose like at least, I don't know, 10 of them, right? 5 of them, 6 of them, right? But you are going to get to a point where you take a few losses in a row. You execute a trade plan, you lose. You execute another trade, you lose. You execute another trade, you lose. And you start to panic. You start to doubt yourself, right? Understand that when self-doubt starts creeping in, it's the most dangerous disease. Because once it enters your mind, it starts spreading. Now that one loss turns into you contemplating your existence in this world. You reevaluating whether like trading is even the right field to actually master, right? You start to go into this downward spiral and you start to over-catastrophize your failure. You start questioning your strategy, you start questioning your ability, you start questioning your desire to become a successful trader, and this is where you start doing stupid things. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So when fear or doubt shows up during these 21 days, during these 21 trades, like I said, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It is going to show up, right? So when it does show up, I want you to tell yourself, yo, I'm here to complete the 21 trades. I'm not here to make money today. If I lose, it's okay. I'm building execution confidence. That's the goal right now. It's not to make money, but it's to build execution confidence. And when I do that, eventually the money will come later. So that's what I want you to tell yourself, right? If you start doubting yourself, if you start fearing, start over-catastrophizing the situation, thinking that you will never succeed and you're going to fail, you're going to die of starvation because you are going to suck at trading, pause, calm down, take a deep breath, tell yourself you are here to build execution confidence, not here to make money. That's it. And the thing is, at some point of time, you are going to encounter a losing streak, right? Like I said, 5 losses in a row, that might be nothing. But what if you encounter a streak where you lose 10 trades in a row? 10 trades in a row. Does that mean that your strategy sucks? Does that mean your strategy is broken? Does that mean that trading is a scam? Does that mean that your brokers are out to get you? Absolutely not. A losing streak doesn't mean your strategy broke. It just means that you are meeting reality. It just means that you are participating in this unpredictable game of day trading, right? And that's what makes the game worth playing. When you encounter a losing streak, this is where you can finally internalize truth number 3, that wins and losses are randomly distributed. You will never ever know for sure whether the next trade is a win or a loss. And that's exactly why risk management matters. And just because there's a random distribution doesn't mean there's random results. Because your discipline is what shapes the equity curve. Discipline turns randomness into a pattern over time. All right, let me repeat myself. Discipline turns randomness into a pattern over time. Randomness of the market, out of your control. Whether you are disciplined, how you show up to the market, that's within your control. Which means that if you focus on the things within your control, you are disciplined when it comes to your actions, it kind of reduces the randomness in your trading results. Okay, like just think about it in terms of physics. When you are disciplined, you are building structure, you are building order. And when you build order, you kind of reduce the amount of chaos, the entropy that is in the world right now, right? So that's what you do when you're disciplined. And the thing about your trading outcomes is that most outcomes cluster in the middle, but sooner or later, you will get a big win or a big loss. You avoid the big loss by keeping your risk consistent. You capture the big win by letting your edge play out. So your job during a losing streak is simple. Stay at the same risk, keep your risk consistent, 1%, 2%, whatever it is. Stay within your rules and keep journaling, right? So as long as you follow these three things right here, you'll be fine. These two shall pass, right? Eventually the losing streak is going to pass. Eventually you're going to get back your mojo. Eventually you're going to get back your wins. I just want to heavily emphasize that you need to repeat this exercise if you still doesn't feel confident in your trade plan after these 21 days. If you still haven't internalized these 5 fundamental truths. You just want to repeat this exercise until execution confidence becomes the new norm. Until you are so locked in on following the process that you stop caring about the outcome. That you no longer care about the money and you only focus on the process of becoming a skilled trader. You only focus on executing your trade plan to the best of your ability. And the ironic thing is, when you stop obsessing over the money, you stop attracting more of it. Because now your time, your money, and your attention are focused on the only things that increase your odds long term. And that is clean execution, discipline, and consistency. When you focus on the process, the results take care of themselves. Right, so that's the point of this entire challenge right here. Now, if you want accountability, I highly recommend you to share your progress publicly. Right, just document this 21 days challenge on your social media itself. So what you want to do is to make sure that you post a daily or weekly check-in. Right, just like what I've taken right here. Right, just a photo of you using Edgeflow. Right, maybe a photo of the Edgeflow dashboard or a photo of your Edgeflow trading journal, and just post it onto your social media. And when you do that, you want to tag Edgeflow on Instagram, edgeflow.ai on Instagram, and tag edgeflowai on X if you're posting on Twitter, right, which is X. And you also want to make sure that you use the hashtag EdgeFlowChallenge so that we can see it and we can hold you accountable. And we are also going to be reposting some of the best check-ins and progress updates, right? So make sure you clean up your desk, have a nice aesthetically pleasing photo right here, and we're going to repost it. All right, so to help you to actually document your journey, we have actually included this structure for you to follow, right? So basically when you're posting, you know how you need to write a caption, right? You can write day number out of 21, right? Day 5 of 21, day 6 of 21 of the Edgeflow challenge, and then whether you have taken a trade today, yes or no, and what was the result of the trade, whether you have made 5R, 2R, or whether you have lose $500, $300, whatever it is, and whether you follow a trading plan today, and what is the one lesson you learned today. And then just put hashtag #EdgeFlowChallenge and tag us on the social media itself. So here's an example of what that will look like, right? So if you're posting on X, it's the same thing as if you're posting on Instagram. Just take a photo of Edgeflow dashboard or trading journal or Edgeflow in general, like any feature that you like, and then just post it on Instagram and just follow this exact format right here. Today is day number out of 21 days. I've taken a trade. This is my result. I've actually followed my trade plan, and this is the lesson that I learned today. I learned that I should wait for confirmation. I should make execution feel effortless. No confirmation, no entry. And over time, these lessons start compounding. Yep, so that's the format you can actually follow. I just want to end off by saying that this challenge really isn't about making money in 21 days. It's about becoming the type of trader who makes money for the next 21 years. Take 21 clean trades, journal them, review them, and prove to yourself that you can follow a process under pressure. Start changing your identity. You are no longer the unprofitable trader who is inconsistent with his actions, who repeat the unconscious patterns, who is constantly self-sabotaging themselves. You're no longer that guy. From today onwards, as you embark on this 21-day challenge, you are a professional trader. So think, act, and feel like one. And when you feel like one, you start taking these 21 trades that is in accordance with your trade plan, you start getting the results of one. Right? Remember, discipline turns randomness into a pattern. So do this 21 days edge flow discipline challenge and you will stop being at war with your emotions. You will finally start trading like a system. And once execution confidence becomes your default mode, becomes your operating system, profitability is only a matter of time. With that said, let's get to work. Start doing this challenge, share your progress on your social medias itself, tag EdgeFlow and hashtag EdgeFlowChallenge. Let's go.